Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Now let's have a hand for our first speaker, Joan. Okay. Laurie. Well, it was a rather inauspicious beginning, wasn't it? I'm Laurie. I'm an alcoholic. And I want to thank Aaron for grabbing me at the last moment to come and do this before I had a chance to obsess over what I was going to wear or what I was going to say or any of that stuff. But I am warm. I am warm. Okay. I don't take off my clothes quite as freely as I used to. I know. No, it's a good thing. Believe me, it's a good thing. Yeah. I'm Laurie, I'm an alcoholic. Golly, yeah, 10 minutes. I'm old. It's got to be a pretty short version. Okay, I grew up in Australia at a cocktail party. My parents had lots of cocktail parties, and you know, when they were young, it was wonderful because they were beautiful and they were glamorous, and all their guests were beautiful and they were glamorous, and they laughed, and the ice tinkled in their glasses, and they had the cigarettes. They went, and it was wonderful, and I used to watch and think, you know, when I grow up, it's going to be like that, and I'm going to grow up, and it's going and I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be glamorous, I'm going to be beautiful, and I'm going to have wonderful children and a beautiful husband and all this fabulous life. And anyway, that's the way it looked when I was young. But, you know, their disease progressed, you know. And after a while, you know, the cigarettes were put out and the drinks, and it wasn't cleaned up, and the guests got a little bit rowdier and a little bit messier, and when they went home, my mom and dad had just wailed the shit out of each other, and it wasn't pretty. It started to not get pretty. And so I thought, okay, you know, I want the way it was. I want the way it was. I don't want the way it became. And they became alcoholics, and I was not going to be an alcoholic. I was not. No. I was going to be glamorous and have this wonderful life and not be alcoholic like they were. So anyway, they died of their alcoholism. My father died at the age of 60 from arteriosclerosis as a result of alcoholism, and my mother died of cirrhosis of the liver at the age of 62. And I knew that I wasn't going to die an alcoholic death because, after all, I wasn't an alcoholic. You know? And at my mother's funeral, my brothers and I got completely wasted. And we didn't get it. We didn't get that there was something wrong with this picture. We didn't get it. You know, I didn't know anything about alcoholism. I didn't know it was a family disease. I didn't know that there was a genetic flaw in my nature that would cause me to have an allergy to alcohol. That once I started drinking it, I had to keep drinking it until it was over, you know? So, my own alcoholism. Yeah. I ran away from home when I was 21. I went to England, which was as far away from Melbourne as I could get. And it's the other side of the planet. And I met my first husband there. He was an American. And we came to the States, and that's how I ended up here. My second husband was also an American. And he's right here, there. And he was with me through the last 6 years of my drinking and using, and it was pretty hairy. Yeah, when we got together, it was party, 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 and it was fun. But it became less fun, and it became ugly. And I was a very protected alcoholic, so I didn't have the hideous downfall that so many people have. I had, I never got arrested for having a DUI. I never got arrested drunk. Nobody ever told me that I should stop drinking. And, my doctor would sort of look up my nose and say, but he never said anything about my stopping drinking or using. Nobody ever said anything. And I had everything constructed in such a way that I hoped that nobody would ever notice that I had this terrible, terrible thing wrong with me. And it just got so I couldn't keep going. I couldn't keep going. I was exhausted, trying to keep it together, throwing up. My little girl would be on the other side of the bathroom door saying, "Mommy, are you being sick again?" And she was 3, and already her friends were starting to look at me at the age of 3, because Kiki's mommy was different from the other mommies. And it was horrible. It was horrible. I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't want to join Alcoholics Anonymous because that was a cult of Jesus freaks, and I really didn't want to have anything to do with it. I also knew that if I was in Alcoholics Anonymous, that you guys didn't drink, and how could I go to Paris and not drink fine wines, And as it was, I went to Paris with my husband to celebrate his 50th birthday, and I was so hungover there and drank so much garbage, not just fine wines, but everything, and I just did not have a very good time in Paris at all, or in Rome, where we also went. And a month after that, I found my way into these rooms. And it was a little classroom downstairs here, and it was right after Thanksgiving in 1989. See, I got sober in the 80s, just 6 weeks in the 80s. And I walked in there, and I watched the other alcoholics, actually. I sat in my car for a while watching them go in. They're alcoholics, terrified. And I got out of the car, I walked over, and they were so kind. They were so kind to me. And we chatted outside for a little while, and then I went into the room, and they said, "It's meeting time." And I said, "Oh, it's so comfortable out here just talking. We don't have to go in there." No, it's meeting time. And in the meeting, everybody was saying that they were an alcoholic. And I was absolutely horrified because, it was so shameful. And they were so proud of it. I'm your alcoholic secretary, I'm your alcoholic literature person, I'm your alcoholic treasurer. Oh, Jesus. This is awful. They're so proud of being an alcoholic. They went around the room and introduced themselves, and it came to me. And I said it. I said, "Yeah, I'm Laurie and I'm an alcoholic." And there it was, my shame. Choked it up like a hairball. Out it came. Laid there on the table for everybody to see. There it was. This was the most hideous thing, that my secret, this shame, this horror that existed in me. And I choked it up, and there it was. And you guys said, "Hi, Laurie." And I realized that you accepted me, not in spite of the fact that I couldn't stop drinking, but because of it. You accepted me because I had this shame, this horror in my life, this secret, this albatross around my neck, and you accepted me. And you smiled, and I saw the light in your eyes, and I knew that you could show me a way to live. And so, from somebody who didn't want to come in here because I was a gracious lady and you didn't understand, I wasn't like you, I wasn't going to be like you, and I didn't want anything that you had, I was sure. But I was, at that point, prepared to do anything you told me to do because I could not live another day the way I was living. So I got a sponsor. I had to find the right sponsor. And they said, "Find someone who has what you want." So I found one with a car phone, I wanted a car phone. She had a car phone. She was awesome. She's still one of my best friends. She taught me how to do the steps. She taught me the steps, and we went through the book. And I did what I was supposed to do. At that first meeting, they said, "Keep coming back." So I went up to those people at the next meeting and said, "I'm here." I came back. I took direction from the get-go. They said, "Pray." I prayed. I didn't know what I was praying to. I was on my knees. I was praying, "Whatever you want." I couldn't go another day the way I'd been going. And I was so much in love with Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, I went around, I called all my friends. I said, oh, I'm an alcoholic. They said, no shit. They said, yeah. I said, I've joined Alcoholics Anonymous. They said, oh, thank God. And so, you know, I was very lucky I outed myself. I outed myself, and my ego stopped me from picking up a drink. Because, you know, after that I realized, oh, if I pick up a drink, everybody knows I'm an alcoholic, so I can't drink anymore. And that stopped me from picking up for quite a while until the desire left, until I'd worked the steps and the obsession left. My pride and my ego kept me sober, and I know it's not supposed to, but it did. I was very, very fortunate that way, because I really didn't want to look bad. I'd spent all my life trying to look good, and when I came in here, I continued to try to look good. I wanted to be the best little AA you ever saw. And so I did what I was told to do. And tonight, I will be taking a cake for 16 years of sobriety. It was actually November 21st was my 16-year anniversary, but I always like to wait for my daughter to arrive. You know, God, you know, I've stayed married. I've stayed married for the past 16 years to a man who I didn't appreciate then, but who I now know is an absolute gem. My daughter has grown up to be healthy and happy and beautiful. She lives in another country, which says something about my mothering, but I don't know quite what. She is dynamic and gorgeous, and we have a wonderful relationship. You know, I have the ability through this program to be a wife and a mother and a friend and a worker. And sometimes I look at my life and I think, my God, what would it have been if I hadn't got sober? What would have happened over the last 16 years if I hadn't got sober? And I hate to think what that movie looks like. You know, I sometimes go along in my life. I mean, I was riding my bike one day along Circular Quay in Sydney and around the Sydney Harbour Opera House, you know, around there. I was on my way to an AA meeting, and it was about 6:30 in the morning, and the sun was just coming up, and the whole world was sparkling. I thought, you know, I love the movie that my life is today. And all I need to do is take one drink, and I can change it. I can turn it into Requiem for a Dream or something really gnarly. You know, I can destroy this totally. You know, I'm not happy every single day of my life. I'm not. But I'm happy most days. And I know that all I need to do is to guarantee misery for me is to pick up one drink, because I might never draw another sober breath for the rest of my life. And that would guarantee that I will never have another happy day, because I was not happy at the end of it, and I know I won't be happy again with it, because it's not going to get any better. If there was a way of making it work for me and for being happy out there, I'd have found it. Every single day I woke up and tried to find it. Tried to find a way to make myself happy, try to make it work. This time it'll work. I'll just have this much. I'll only do this. I'll do this and this and this. And it didn't work. I mean, it was over. It was totally over. If you're in here, it's over for you too. It's not going to work again. And I'm really sorry it's come to this, you know. It's not, you know, but it's not pretty out there. It is not pretty dealing with this disease and trying to beat it. It's not beatable. It isn't. I'm just really, really grateful to be here. I'm so glad that I got this little handbook of how to live life after struggling for a long time out there, trying to figure it out myself, you know. Fortunately, I came in here and saw that figure it out is not one of the slogans of Alcoholics Anonymous, you know. We've got a lot of other ones that are really awesome and that work for us. And anyway, you guys have done it for me. You know, you've done it for me. You've shown me how to live, and you've shown me how to live in the light and to grow and to be happy. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.